Hello, welcome to Morris Money, where we give you stock tips in under 5 minutes. I'm your host, Morris Willie. Today, I'm talking about Liquidity Services. Their earnings just hit, so I'm going to go over their earnings and an interesting takeaway from an article from The Motley Fool. Do you see Mr. Northington? He subscribed in style, and so can you. Subscribe in style with Morris Money. Let's start with the Motley Fool article. The Motley Fool was discussing their takeaways from Liquidity Services earnings. The retail consignment and liquidation specialist saw its volume of merchandise rise significantly in its fiscal fourth quarter ending September 30th, but profits decreased significantly from year-ago levels. The numbers from Liquidity Services were mixed. Gross merchandise volume from the quarter rose 16% year over year to $283 million, with the company's digital marketplace solutions gaining more traction amongst government and private business users. A shift in business mix towards more consignment work limited revenue growth somewhat, but sales still climbed 7% to $75.2 million. That's consistent with the nature of the business, in which tough economic times can actually spur greater use of the company's platform. Liquidity Services' bottom line didn't match up with its upbeat sales figure. Adjusted net income dropped by nearly a third to $6.4 million, working out to 19 cents per share. The company attributed the drop in profits largely to a rise in its tax rate, which in turn reflects the release of deferred tax assets that had kept its income tax costs lower in previous periods. Liquidity Services tried to stay optimistic about the future, projecting better results in early 2023 than in the same period this year. However, numerous economic and business uncertainties could hurt the company, and that's putting pressure on shareholders even as they hope that the business will hold up in an economic downturn. They brought up some great points to keep in mind about the company, but let's also go over their numbers for this quarter. Liquidity Services reported fourth quarter fiscal year 2022 sales growth of 7%, as I said earlier, year on year to $75.2 million, beating the consensus estimate of $72.88 million. Gross merchandise volume of $283.3 million increased 16% year over year. Total costs and expenses rose 3.1% to $63.9 million. Operating margin was 15%, and the operating income for the fourth quarter was $11.2 million. The company held $98 million in cash and equivalents as of September 30th, 2022, and cash provided by operating activities for the year totaled $44.8 million. Adjusted EBITDA increased 8% year over year to $12.3 million. At the end of the fourth quarter, registered buyers climbed 22% to 4.9 million users. Adjusted EPS was 19 cents, missed the analyst consensus of 23 cents, and as of December 6, 2022, the company's board of directors authorized a new share repurchase program of up to $8.4 million of its shares. The company's outlook: Liquidity Services expects Q1 adjusted EPS of 9 cents to 18 cents against the consensus of 17 cents. Now, I must say this is a little worrying, as the consensus is at 17 cents, and that's at the higher spectrum of Liquidity Services EPS estimates for the quarter, and the company can easily meet expectations or beat expectations by 1 cent at 18 cents. Liquidity Services expects Q1 GMV of $265 million to $295 million and an adjusted EBITDA of $7 million to $10 million. Now, what's also great to take note of is the market hasn't reacted kindly to this news. Initially, the stock popped to $15.80 off of this news at market open, or at least around market opening. And ever since then, it's been a landslide for the stock. Friday, the stock was down 10% and closed at $12.80. Now, what can you do about this? I say, in my personal opinion, I'm buying the stock. Liquidity Services is still a great undervalued company that has a lot of market potential in this upcoming economy, and at $12.80, the valuation is looking even greater. But that's just my personal opinion. Let me know what you think about all this down below, and tell me your thoughts on the quarter, and if you're a shareholder of Liquidity Services. Please don't take this video as financial advice, and thank you for watching Morris Money. Morris Money is preparing for its next destination, 1,000 subscribers. Make sure you're here for the ride by subscribing to Morris Money.